I am Leo Laporte, the tech guy, and it's time to talk home theater, as we do. We like to kick off the weekend with a little exposition on home theater from Scott Wilkinson, editor-in-chief at the Ultimate AV Magazine. That's ultimateavmag.com. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Leo. How's it going?
It's going very well. What is new in the world of home theater and high def?
Well, there's always something new, isn't there?
There is. It's an amazing thing. It's calmed down a lot. We don't have to talk about Blu-ray versus HD DVD anymore.
No, that's true. That's true.
Although I noticed that somebody just cracked the Blu-ray copy protection scheme.
Really? I had heard that had happened some time ago, but maybe they did the more recent Blu-ray
BD Plus has been cracked now.
Now it's been cracked. Okay, I'm not surprised.
Doesn't take them long.
No, it doesn't take them long.
The guys who cracked it are Slysoft, and they're the same people who cracked it before. They actually are a commercial enterprise, but they operate out of the West Indies, Trinidad. So apparently they're beyond the law.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting because the guys who cracked it said this is really well done, and it won't be so hard for them to modify it yet again. But we think we're ready for it. So it's going to be a pitched battle back and forth for a while.
As it always is. It 'tis ever thus.
It is.
And I think that copy protection, the whole issue of copy protection is pretty draconian on the Blu-ray side of things. They're trying so hard, and it's at the instigation of the studios, of course. But it's really hopeless. It's like the war on drugs, really.
Yeah.
It's like there's no point. They're never going to win.
Well, it is within their rights to assert their copy.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
But I guess you're right. It's kind of hopeless. I don't know. It's hard to figure out who they're. You know me. I'm dead against DRM copy protection, but nevertheless, I'm trying to argue on their side to give them some sort of benefit of the doubt. I mean, I understand why they want to protect it, and I guess what they figure is they're protecting themselves against casual copiers. Pirates are going to figure this out.
See, and casual copiers, I don't think represent much of a problem for them. Now, if I'm wrong, someone can tell me. But if someone's making a copy for their living room or their other, some other system, their other house or something, I don't see where that's such a big problem for the studios.
It's not going to cost them anything. They already bought the DVD, and I have to say, copying high def discs is not a moneymaker. That's very expensive.
That's right, especially Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you burn it onto a Blu-ray BDR, which is a write once, or BDRE, which is a rewritable, those blanks are mega expensive, and burning them requires a fairly sophisticated computer. So, it ain't cheap to do.
Most likely, what people do is strip it out and put it on their hard drive so they can watch it on the plane, and that doesn't cost anybody anything. I'm sorry.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. One of the things about Blu-ray that's always kind of bugged me is that they make all of the features of Blu-ray, BD Live and picture-in-picture and all that stuff. All of that is optional in the players, and that makes it very difficult for program providers to master a disc that's going to play everywhere. The only exception, the only thing that they make absolutely mandatory is copy protection.
Yeah, of course.
And it costs thousands of dollars. I've talked to several content providers who say, it's very difficult to make a Blu-ray disc because every time you make what's called a check disc, that is a test to make sure that your authoring is correct and everything's working properly, it costs thousands of dollars to implement the copy protection.
Right.
On a test disc.
Yeah.
HD DVD did it exactly the opposite. They said all features are mandatory on all players, but copy protection is optional.
Isn't that interesting?
I found that fascinating, and I think HD DVD did it the right way, and Blu-ray has done it the wrong way.
I didn't know that. So you have these inevitable incurred costs, even if you don't want to copy protect it, you have to.
That's right.
Huh.
That's right. So I find that it's really too bad. It really is. And I'm now going to try and go on a bit of a crusade here to encourage at least Blu-ray, the Blu-ray community to start making it more mandatory for the features to be in the players. Now, I think they would say something on the order of, well, it's optional because that lets manufacturers differentiate their products one from the other. And if they want to add it in, then they can charge more money and theirs is the better player or whatever. But I say because there are so many options and so many features that may or may not be there, it's impossible for content providers to, make robust discs that will play everywhere. So I think that Blu-ray took the wrong approach there.
I noticed that Sony has announced that the PlayStation 3 will now be upgraded to the new profile for Blu-ray.
Yep, I just now heard that myself.
Yeah,
and this is very good news. I'm waiting to hear from Sony on whether or not this will also affect its performance with DTS HD. One of the big bugaboos of the PlayStation 3 is that it cannot send a bit stream of DTS HD master audio, which is the lossless codec, nor Dolby True HD for that matter. But what it does do with Dolby True HD is it converts it to PCM, which is this the same format as on CDs, uncompressed. So that doesn't give you any problem, but it can't deal with DTS HD, either by sending a bit stream out so that your audio-video receiver can decode it, or converting it to PCM internally. And everyone is waiting for a firmware update that will make that happen, that will either convert it to PCM on the inside or be able to send a bit stream on the outside. I think it's probably not possible to send a bit stream. I've heard that the hardware is completely incapable of doing that.
Some stuff you can do in software by an upgrade, but some stuff has to modify the physical hardware.
That's correct, and I believe this bitstream output is one of those things. Yeah. I've had a devil of a time getting to anyone at Sony who can answer these questions definitively for me. So I tend to, I read as much as I can, and I try to find out what I can, but, without an official Sony announcement, it's difficult to say exactly what's going on here. As far as this firmware update is concerned, nothing that I've read says anything about DTS HD, so I assume it's not going to do anything with that.
Is there a clamor among HD aficionados for this audio format? I mean, is that like the...
Yes.
There is.
Yes, there is. Either
Why?
one.
Is that better?
Well, lossless encoding is always better than lossy encoding. I believe you've talked about this on the show before.
Oh, yeah.
I certainly have too. Every time you compress something in a lossy way, such as Dolby Digital, regular Dolby Digital, or DTS, you're throwing out information. MP3 is another example. MP3 throws out 90% of the audio information that was originally there. And you're not supposed to be able to hear the difference because what they're throwing out is ostensibly hidden by other nearby frequencies in the sound. But the impact of throwing away 90% of the information seems to me you can't help but hear or at least feel something. As a matter of fact, it brings up a very interesting point. There's a researcher in Nashville at some university there, the name I've forgotten, who did some studies on the emotional impact of MP3s versus CDs, that is uncompressed audio. And he found that the MP3s activated the emotional areas of the brain much less than uncompressed audio.
So uncompressed audio is more emotionally satisfying.
Correct.
Or moves you more.
Correct.
Or makes you get when you listen to great music, it is an experience. It's a physical experience. So you lose that if it's an MP3, you're saying?
According to this researcher,
wow.
Yes. I'm in the process of talking with him. I'm going to be writing about this because it's such a fascinating subject. I had never thought of this before.
Well, and it would impact then what you're talking about, because if you have a choice between a highly compressed audio track on a DVD, or better yet, a Blu-ray DVD, versus an uncompressed one that doesn't have anything left out, you'd choose the uncompressed one if you could support it, because it would move you more.
That's correct. That's precisely exactly it.
Interesting.
And therefore, that's why people are so interested. Well, I don't know if that's why, but it's certainly, I think, a reason why people are so interested in these uncompressed audio tracks like DTS HD Master Audio.
Is that what's used in a movie theater?
I don't know. I suspect not. I suspect the movie theaters are somewhat compressed, or at least they have been up till now.
Isn't that funny? I mean, there you go. The biggest sound system you're going to encounter in a normal situation, with the biggest screen, and you could maybe have it sound better at home.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
If they would just implement this. Well, let us know. Keep us up to date on that. That's a very interesting story. Scott Wilkinson's the editor-in-chief at the Ultimate AV Magazine. UltimateAVMag.com is a place to go. You can read it online. It's absolutely free. Great material. Lots of reviews, audio, video, everything to do with your home theater. You're going to want to check this magazine out. UltimateAVMag.com. Thank you, Scott.